Do you remember a time before Redstone, back when people used sand and signs to build machines and somehow it actually worked? I want to see how far we can push this forgotten technology in the modern age. This is genuinely really cool, so let's sit back in Minecraft. It feels very good to be back here on my creative testing world. We are on Java, which is different, but sand doesn't really work that well on Bedrock. And then I've also got this resource pack, which basically allows vibrant visuals on Java. There'll be a link in the description. It's really cool. But I really want to just try and take advantage of this old technology. I mean, no one really does this anymore, but back in the day, this was your door. This sand was your door. And if you wanted to try and get in, then you'd have to break that, and then it would open up. That is so cool. You can, of course, do it with gravel as well, which, I mean, if you really wanted to try and blend in the sort of terrain with everything round about it, so we can try and rebuild that. In fact, let's try and rebuild it slightly differently, because we can build off of these signs, so it's all kind of chained together. I basically want to just try and learn what we can do with this, because I swear, no one does this anymore. It's so cool, though. But let's try and do something like that. Sign there as well, and then place that there. And what I'm doing is basically I'm lining this up where there's high points we need more, where there's low points we need less. So if I cover that up there, we have got our finished pile of just gravel. And then if I break this one block, it all fills it. Well, okay, I maybe didn't do that properly, but you can kind of see what I'm getting at. There's a lot of possibilities with this, which I want to try and explore. I have also just realized that we can get actual concrete powder, which means we can color our things as well. So say we were to just try and make kind of like a room shape like this. And then this is just the Axiom mod, which I've got installed on Java. It's so useful because you can do stuff like that so quickly. And then we place that there and then get some oak signs and then do what we had before. So it's kind of something like that. And then we cover this entirely in concrete powder. Again, oh no. Good thing this mod has an undo button. That was bad. Okay, we bring that out and then we build up some walls all the way around like that. There as well. We could place a button there. And you know what? We'll even extend these walls slightly further up as well. And then with some very, very simple redstone, we try and line up that with the button, which is there, I believe. And then we've got a sign that says, don't press. But if we press it, the entire room just disintegrates. That's so cool. And we're just left with this hole in the world. You can even see the moon down there as well. Now, of course, that's like a one-time trap. I wonder what other traps we could make. Again, utilizing that big hole in the floor, let's get some spruce planks like that. And why are we using signs when instead we could just use some scaffolding? And now the great thing about scaffolding is the fact that we can have that there and then basically build out from it. Now, scaffolding is quite limiting in this example like that, which is fine. We place some spruce planks along either side like that. Same here as well. We could just get some logs. So basically, we can try and make this like a corridor. We can get some deep slate bricks as well. Just try and add some detail. In fact, let's replace it with some tuff. I think that'll look even better like that. And then the main trick, we get some red carpet. And now you have no idea that what you're walking on is actually a booby trap. Because you could have your friend just standing down there. How you doing, buddy? And then who knows? He could say something that could insult you like that. And you can just drop them straight into the void. Look at that. That is so cool. And it's so quick. You have no idea what's about to happen. And what's more, you don't even need to have it like that. Because why not do something like this instead? Where we get some spruce planks like that. Spruce signs, rather. We can then place in our stairs and our blocks like this. And this is looking really cool. And then we get some grey concrete powder. We could even get some brown concrete powder as well, which we can place up here. And I basically just want to fill this all the way up to the top. And now again, when you're walking through, you might just think this is a really cool roof design. I'm not exactly sure. But if we connect this with a pressure plate, we get some sticky pistons probably up here. And then we power that like that. And now if we walk through, look at that. We've just been trapped. Now, I need to try and get my way out of there. But if you imagine that you are trapped under so much sand that there's no way you could get out, that would be a really fun and quite amusing trick. Something I do wonder, however, is if we can place some string like this, does sand activate the tripwire? Oh, it does. Now that is cool. Okay, this could be big because if that works, and I 100% guarantee that if we get an observer basically around here, probably face it that way, place some string there, and then again, if we drop some sand, yeah, look at that. Okay, cool. In fact, you know what? For this case, I'm just going to focus entirely on dropping some sand because I want to make it just have one pulse that shoots out. Probably something like that. So yeah. Okay, cool. What I wonder, if we were to try and get some soul sand and basically place it down here with some water as well, if we drop sand, is it going to float or is it going to sink all the way down to the bottom? That's my question now. Oh, look at that. Now that is cool. So with it doing that, does that mean if we were to get a piston, in fact, we'll make this one wider as well, and then some slime blocks as well. Oh, okay, we can't leave it there for too long. That is good to know. But we get that set up kind of like that, and then we can connect this to our redstone. Now, I'm not the best with redstone. I really am not. I may have made a projector, but I'm not the best with redstone. Is this going to work as I hope? Or is that that's way too quick? We need a delay in that. Let's see if this works. Interesting. Okay. Imagine if we had a similar thing going on kind of like here, where if we were to get a piston, when once again we get our tripwire set up kind of like that, with some redstone going down. Let's see if this works like that. Oh, that is cool. That is really cool. Okay. What we can do with that, I'm not sure, but that's cool. I like that. Could we maybe try and make that thinner by using an observer like that? I'm not exactly sure if we can. Maybe something like this? Is that going to work? We need that repeater. Maybe not. I'll keep looking at the music machine that we made. I wonder if we can try and hook this up using sand. That'd be really cool. So let's grab this note right here and then connect that probably there is just best. And then again, if we drop some sand in. Okay. I mean, I've just done some very basic tidying up, and it already looks so much better. We need to try and sort that. It'd be good if we could try and get it loop back round on itself. What happens if we were to try and place a wall there, so that it's got no choice but to go all the way back up? Oh, that's cool. And then we can place a wall here with probably another slime block launcher as well, and then again, another tripwire. And again, I just want to very quickly thank our channel members as well for supporting me directly. It really does mean a lot, so thank you very, very much. Please don't think it goes unappreciated, because it is so very much appreciated. But if we place a repeater right there, I'm thinking this could be a complete loop. Oh, nearly. That's so close. I think with just a little bit more of a delay, this could work now. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's... Whoa. It's working, but it's not. That is really weird. I think what we're seeing is not... Okay, now it's caught itself back up. That was weird. And again, if I was to try and take one of these note blocks, let's just go for that C again, and then we place that probably right there, and then the sand's broken itself. Okay, we need to keep that in mind. That is... I mean, it's like, why would you do that? But it's a fun challenge to have to mess with redstone. Going back to the idea of just the water floating, because that was really interesting, okay? I'm thinking if we were to try and get just a big load of soul sand all the way around like this, and then we make this nice and big as well, we get glass all the way around, and then we just bring all the glass all the way up as well. We now have just a pit full of bubbles. Look at that. That is so cool. And then what I want to try and do, and again, just because we've got it, we can take it. I'm going to use the clone tool within this Axiom mod, and I'm basically just going to take one of these houses and then basically just place a whole lot of signs underneath this house. I basically just want to replace everything here with concrete powder and just see what happens to this house when we break all the signs. I mean, it certainly looks interesting. This is, yeah. And we'll have to place some signs to support the roof. Oh, I did not mean that. And then we may also need some signs in the inside. And we can't forget the floor as well. And then the likes of the glass is just going to have to become a sign. There you go. It's not exactly the nicest window, but it's better than nothing. And now let's see how this reacts when we drop the house into the... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. It's just going to... Yeah, it's just going to touch the water and turn to concrete. There we go. I've recreated the house, but it's now made out of actual blocks that can interact with the water. Let's see how this looks. And, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, that is... I mean, it's actually really kind of cool looking. Look at that. And then certain blocks appear through. That is interesting. Okay. Because of the pattern in the blocks, sometimes it shines through, sometimes it doesn't. That is weird. Okay. That's good to know. And then it all becomes items. That is really cool. So to help make this easier, I've basically frozen block updates using the Axiom mod. Again, you could do this, I think, in vanilla, but just to make it easier. And I just want to see if we can do something like this, where I'll be honest, I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but just using that recent discovery we had right there. And then to finish it all off, let's get some gravel, and then let's basically add in one whole layer of gravel on top. And now if we turn this off and then simply place that there, look at that. That is cool. That is really, really cool. And once it settles, it's going to start to change its shape as well. That is so weird looking. Wow. Okay, interesting. And look at how it's like a wave pattern throughout it as well. There is some really cool possible... Oh, Now, that was cool. You know, I hope I've shown some really cool ideas. The purpose of this video is to try and give you some really cool ideas of things you might not have considered. And if you have got any inspiration from this video, please leave a comment or join the Discord and share something you can make using these kind of really cool, really unique tricks with sand and gravity blocks, which no one seems to be using nowadays. Thank you very much for watching. It really is appreciated.